G'day guys, just going to give you a quick run through on the different construction methodologies when it comes to building a caravan. There's a sandwich panel composite construction or a veneering style of construction, and that could be either timber frame or aluminium frame. So with us, we run a German glass with a high density extruded styrofoam, which is non-water absorbent, an incredible insulator, and then we use the Raptor coating on the outside as well. So very easy to repair if you ever have any dramas, but very, very strong. And every square inch of this is contributing to the structural integrity of the caravan. And when the walls are made, it's cut out with a CNC machine to be millimetre perfect every single time. I'll just run you through some of the other manufacturing methodologies. This is a C-channel aluminium construction that uses Henrob rivets. Okay, now with that, the frames are made on a bench and then they're erected and whatnot, and then all the cabling is run through little holes. So they have to punch holes all the way through this stud in the wall and run all the cabling through, and then that's concealed between an internal wall ply, which this is actually using clear perspex to give us an idea, but this would be a timber wall ply on the inside, and then this is the outside of your van, which would be checker plate and the aluminium composite panel. You can also see how there's an extensive use of joins as well. So these H molds, etc., you need this to be done perfectly, otherwise you're going to get water leaks which get inside. Even with an aluminium frame, if you have a leak on the inside, the water will still rot out your cabinetry and your internal ply. And also from an electrical standpoint, you don't actually know where any of the wires are. It's a real mystery in this type of construction, and insanely labour intensive, right? So again, you'll hear me say that a few times. This is a little bit more of a showcasing of an aluminium construction. This is where they're sort of trying to use the composite to bolt down onto the roof. They have to use what's called a J mold. So this J mold here in a traditional manufacturing style has like 100 or so screws all the way across the top, down the front and down the back. And then they pop a rubber capping in there. Water will get in there, it will sit in there, and you need to rely on that person every single time putting a screw in with plenty of sealant, etc. Otherwise, you will get water in there, and then again, that will seep into wall cavities. And then even again, with an aluminium frame, the water will rot out your internal ply, which you can see just here. Okay, so that is a typical internal wall of a caravan. This is a welded aluminium frame. Now, the challenges with a welded aluminium frame is that you need a very skilled person to be welding this every single day. And as you can see, just in this small frame, how many welds there are. Incredibly labour intensive. Okay, you need to rely on the person who's making this to be on point every minute of every day to make sure every weld is good. Okay, every weld is straight, because if he does just one weld out, it starts to deform the actual end structure, and then things start to snowball. If you've got a drama with this van, for example, where this panel here, say these scratches and stuff, they cannot be repaired. None of this, if you get any marks on this panel, can be repaired. So imagine this in a full scale of this van. You would have to replace this panel, and then you would have to replace the other panels as well, because this panel would be a different color when it's replaced to the other panels. And trying to color match with this panel with the amount of different suppliers in the marketplace is near impossible. Trying to remove checker plate or do anything with that, getting it off and then putting it back on, it's impossible. You've got to replace the checker plate as well. And then you've also got to rely on an absolute religious use of all these grommets in this wall cavity. If they miss just one grommet in this wall and that wire is running through and chased with that, it earths out with the frame and, or electrifies the frame or melts all your cabling in the wall. So again, you're relying on absolute perfection in regards to the labour that are putting these vans together. Whereas with the composite panel, it is, again, I'm eliminating the human input or the reliability on a human doing a perfect job every single time. It's a vacuum bonded panel. It's then cut out to the millimetre in a computer run CNC machine. Absolutely perfect every single time. Look guys, just showing you again the construction methodology and how it's, a little bit how it's done. Okay, you can just see it's a veneering over the frame. And this is the J-mold that I was telling you that runs around the van to hold it all together and hold this onto there and sort of partner the two walls. Now, coming over to the Elysium caravan, here we go. As you can as you can see, that's hurting my hand actually, super strong. Every part of this wall is contributing to the strength. There's no wires running through it. There's no internal frame whatsoever. So it's incredibly strong, a wonderful insulator, and it's one panel that runs all the way over the top, up the back, all the way over the top, and all the way down the front as well. No joins. Then to partner with that is we have this incredibly strong extrusion, again, which runs around all of the outer perimeter of the van. This is a very strong aluminium. It's also put on with a really advanced polymer adhesive. So there's no screws, there's nothing going into the van that needs to be sealed perfectly 100 times over. And then also it provides the extra strength which contributes to a monocoque construction of our body, especially when you align it with the subframe and the extrusion that runs along the bottom of the wall. Here we are under a traditional manufactured van here, and you'll see they still use this J-mold at the bottom of the wall. And then what they do is they have just a aluminium section that is attached to the chassis rails that comes down and has a flat section here. And then the aluminium wall, for example, comes down. And then what they do is they put these bolts through the aluminium frame and hold it into this steel section here, okay? So again, you're still using this H-mold. And as you can see, you know, you've got to rely on people using sealant, and there's, if you don't have sealant in all these screws, you're running the risk of water getting into the van and rotting out certain components that are timber. It's the age-old problem that water does not mix with timber. But as you can see, the difference in strength is that you've got the aluminium frame in here with a veneer on the outside, and that's the whole structure of the wall and the base of this wall. Welcome under the vision, guys. So you're going to be seeing something remarkably different with the way that we approach the construction of our vans. So I've talked about it in other videos, but we start with a galvanized 50 by 50 box section subframe. And that's what the box is built on top of, and it's straight and perfect every single time. Again, we've shown you the extrusion that we use. That then blends in with the honeycomb composite floor. The wall section goes into that, and again, we're using a polymer adhesive. There's no screws, there's no rivets, there's no bolts. It's using advanced adhesives. Again, it's modern technology we should all be using, but you mix this galvanized box frame in with an incredibly strong extrusion and a strong wall. This is an unrivaled perimeter and framing for the van. We then go to the lengths of huck bolting that shell above to a galvanized chassis, and as you can see, we've got huck bolts going all the way across the front there, and we've got multiple ribs all the way towards the back of the van where you see this being huck bolted to the chassis. Again, it's another angle that Vision is really pushing forward with an incredible monocoque construction and eliminating the old school sort of bolt and screw and staple manufacturing methodologies. We're using advanced polymer adhesives, advanced extrusions, incredible millimeter perfect CNC'd walls. There's a place for all the construction methodologies in the marketplace, but I'm making note of the different construction styles to really amplify the effort that we've gone to for precision and reliability and consistent execution of that engineering as well, with the build of our vans. And also to note that we run the wiring looms, etc., so you can actually access the wires should you need to for a drama or diagnosis in the future. Thanks very much, guys.